It was as though they were dancing the tango. "I'm not lying," cried Ben. They reached the living room door. "You can't go in there," yelled Ben, thinking the jewels were still scattered over the carpet. "Why not?" Because Granny is doing her naked yoga." Ben needed a dramatic excuse to stop Mr. Parker barging through the door and seeing the jewels. He was pretty sure he'd hit the jackpot as Mr. Parker pushed and furrowed his brow. Sadly, the noisy neighbour wasn't convinced. "Naked yoga, a likely story. I need to talk to your grandmother right away. Now get out of my way, you nasty little worm of a boy," he said, and he shoved the boy aside and opened the living room door. Granny must have heard Ben through the door, because when Mr. Parker burst into the room, she was standing in her bra and knickers in a tree pose. "Mr. Parker, do you mind?" said Granny in mock horror. That he'd seen her in a state of undress. Mr. Parker's eyes spun round the room. He didn't know where to look, so he fixed his glare on the now bare carpet. "Excuse me, madam, but I need to ask you, where are those jewels I saw a moment ago?" Ben spied the silver Jubilee biscuit tin poking out from behind the sofa. Surreptitiously, he edged it out of view with his foot. "What jewels, Mr. Parker? Have you been spying on me again?" demanded Granny, still in her underwear. He sputtered. "I had good reason. I was suspicious when I saw a young gentleman enter your property, and I thought he might be a burglar. I let him through the front door. He might have been a very charming burglar. He might have weaseled his way into your confidence. He's my grandson, and he stays every Friday." "Ah," Mr. Parker said triumphantly, "but it's not Friday night. So you can see why my suspicions are raised. And as head of the grey close neighbourhood watch, I must report anything suspicious I see to the police." "I've a good mind to report you to the police, Mr. Parker," said Ben. Granny looked at him curiously. "Whatever for?" said the man, his eyes narrowed. They were now so red it was like they were on fire in his brain. "For spying on old ladies in underwear." Excuse me, and said Ben triumphantly. Granny winked at Ben. "She was fully clothed when I looked through the window," protested Mr. Parker. "That's what they all say," said Granny. "Now get out of my house before you're arrested for being Peeping Tom. You've not heard the last of me. Good day," said Mr. Parker. With that, he spun on his heels and left the room. Granny and Ben heard the front door slam behind him, and they ran over to the window and watched him scuttle back to the bungalow. "I think we frightened him off," said Ben. "But he'll be back," said Granny. "We have to be very careful." "Yes," said Ben,